I'm currently travelling through Central America. Previously, I spent 2.5 weeks travelling through Mexico and Belize, experiencing its stunning nature. We got to see so many things like sharks, turtles and the corals. It was really good. Cultural heritage.
Wow, this is really impressive.
And local life.
You guys enjoy, you pull the
In this episode, I carry on my Central American adventure into my next country. This is Guatemala. First, we had to cross the Belize-Guatemala border, which was actually surprisingly straightforward and took about 20 minutes.
Well, welcome to a very rainy Guatemala.
So the aim for today was to go and explore the UNESCO World Heritage Site of the Tikal ruins, but first we took a stop for breakfast at Lake Platanitza, which took a while to learn how to pronounce. So we've arrived at Lake Platanitza, which is the third largest in Guatemala and close to the Tikal ruins, and it is so peaceful. It almost feels like a crime to talk. And all along the coast, you can't see a single building.
Of this lake. I'm actually kind of glad the weather's changed a bit.
Yes, Bill will take that comment back when his tent floods at 1 AM that morning, but we made our way up to Tikal.
On behalf of our ancestors, the Maya, we would like to welcome you to Tikal. Tikal is one of the lands, one of the countries, one of the cities where Maya civilization started. And we are gonna bring tribute and honor to them in order to show you who we were, who we are, and who we pretend to be as Maya descendants in this country. So on behalf of my ancestry, welcome to Guatemala, welcome to the land of the Maya. Tikal was the consequence of a commercial expansionism that started to happen by 700 BC. And that commercial expansionism took advantage of the rivers. Tikal was here as a consequence of merchants traveling from one river to another and finding a place where to spend the night before they reached to the river so they could continue towards the Gulf of Mexico or the other way around. This small section here, friends, is exactly what comes from under the dirt as it is removed. You really need to have a lot of imagination or knowledge in order to see from that how the building was like in the past. By 5 in the morning, this structure is going to be around 16 degrees Celsius. By 3 p.m. on a sunny day, it can be around 48. What happens to matter when matter heats up? Expands. What happens to matter when it cools off? Contracts. That happens every day. That is the reason why today we prefer to live in like that. Yet the ones that we have restored and on Earth are for you to come and see how beautiful they possibly were at ancient times.
Wow, that is huge.
That is known as Temple 4. Temple 4 is the highest one in Tikal. Never before, never after this building, people from Tikal were able to achieve something like this. So it doesn't show only the biggest building in the city, but also the peak, historically, economically wise, in the history of Tikal.
Yeah. Very cloudy. Ready? Yeah.
Look how tiny those people are down there compared to the size of that Temple 4 we climbed up before.
This is so steep.
So this is Central Plaza.
Fun fact, there's actually a small little Guatemalan boy.
As far as we understand, because of excavations conducted by University of Pennsylvania back in the 50s, it was there in that area, which we call today as North Acropolis, where everything started.
This is so much better. We're completely alone in Tikal, so it's all peaceful again. Not another tourist apart from these two behind me. Well, that's one way to get away from the crowds of Tikal. Just wait till the tour groups leave and then you have it completely to yourself.
Can you see the big pyramid there?
Yeah.
Well, friends, that big pyramid was completely clear out of the jungle back in late 1800s. Never cleaned up again. So see how jungle has grown up again.
So originally we thought we were camping in Tikal National Park, but in reality we were camping in the hotel gardens with no access to the Wi-Fi, poor toilets and showers, and to make it worse, it rained the entire night. And it is teeming with rain. I got lucky, my tent's under a bit of cover. What do you think of this campsite?
Oh, well, you know what? It's a bit fucking wet.
Anyway, up early tomorrow to Rio Duce, which should be good. Again, no expectations, I've got no idea what it's like. So yeah, let's go and find out. Our guide recommended we take a boat trip in order to fully appreciate the scenery in Rio Duce, which is known as the Amazon of Central America. So we decided to take a trip to the mouth of the river and a town called Livingston, which we heard was full of culture and history. Livingston is an utterly unique place on Earth. Their people, the Garifuna, are an example of cultural resilience, adaptation and survival. It all began in 1635 when an African slave ship from Nigeria shipwrecked near the island. The people who came ashore mixed with the locals and a new culture was born, one that was defined by both Caribbean and West African traditions. This culture remains over 300 years on, and because the Garifuna people managed to avoid slavery, it is believed these are the only black people in the Americas to have kept a direct path to their original Afro-Caribbean culture. The Garifuna are famous for their music and dancing, and we paid a visit to the local community project there. In return for a donation, they played us some music and gave us a tour of the town. So we had to wake up about 3 AM this morning to make the 9-hour journey, I think it was in the end, to Antigua. We took the route through Guatemala City, one of the most dangerous cities in the world, so that we could get a glimpse of life there. Our tour guide, Maria, was born in the city and was all too aware of the danger posed every time she went out of her home.
Similar to kind of what it's like here. It's like, you know, like favelas in Brazil.
The favelas, yeah,
Yeah,
that's completely like that, yeah.
There is also a massive inequality divide in the country, created by a heavily corrupt government, which, despite improving in recent years, is still significantly holding back the country's development.
He got robbed and the police was in the corner, literally in the corner, and he was just, because everyone is like they have deals, so it's not like you can trust them. But I don't walk in the street, never, in Guatemala City, like never. If it's like 6 blocks, car. The store near my house is 3 blocks, car. This generation, I think, is more conscious, you know, but we hope like the well-educated and conscious people go to the power. Because the problem in the government, you know what it is, after the corruption of the president and the vice president, is like, if you go ask on the offices of the government, like, what did you study? They are there because of a connection.
We'd be returning to the city in a couple of days, so we didn't do much before heading north again towards the famous Lake Atitlan. But first, we stopped over at Chichicastenango, the largest market in Guatemala, passing through the local cemetery on the way. So this is obviously a really wealthy person's graveyard, and it highlights the poverty divide in Guatemala. The tour guide was saying it's massive and these people pay lots and lots of money to be buried here. But it's also interesting that we've actually come to a graveyard to see it, whereas in the UK, in Europe, you just wouldn't do that because death's kind of ignored or it's seen as bad, whereas here it's celebrated with all the colours and all the different gravestones. We then went to the market, which was a hub for rural people selling their craft. It's definitely overwhelming. I don't think I've really experienced chaos like this before. It's like all your senses are just overwhelmed. That guy carrying all that stuff on his head. So such a poverty gap in Guatemala. And now we're at the Guatemalan KFC, which costs about £3 for 20 nuggets, which is cheap, isn't it? Just mad. So we've come to a town called San Jorge for this homestay tonight, so we're living with a local family just for the night. It sounds like Star Wars music as we wait to see who our family is. This is so random.
Fun.
We come to the top of the hill. Even more stairs. Go on, Zev, last bit. We made it. So the shower's alright, to be fair. It was kind of the opposite from the other night, where the water was too hot to go under rather than freezing cold like it was at the camping. But anyway, and it was kind of like a bush tucker trial because there was about 5 spiders all staring me down, but we got there. And it's better than expected. As the family we were staying with spoke about 3 words of English, I was worried it would be incredibly hard to fully understand their daily life with my pidgin GCSE Spanish. Then a man walked through the door who was also staying the night with the family, who could speak fluent Spanish. He was actually a fairly big YouTuber who was halfway through a mammoth journey travelling through Argentina all the way to Russia on his motorbike. He chose travelling after retiring from the army a couple of years ago. What made you want to spend it travelling?
Usually, you spend your whole life saving money, and when you are old and tired, you start to live. That's stupid. I prefer, to live when I'm young and fresh and
you're not going to be 90 years old riding a motorcycle.
Yeah, and then I'll just work when I'm gonna be grumpy and old and having nothing else to do. But everything looks like holidays. Before, everything looked like adventure. Like when you were a guy who go at the other side of the world, you were the adventurer, and even for you were thrilled. Now you're just like the guy who doesn't work and just go chill on the other side of the world,
And you make tortillas?
You
make tortillas?
Yeah. Tortillas?
Yeah. You'll see what I mean.
¿En cuánto tiempo necesitas para hacer una?
Para uno,
Sí.
solo se necesita segundos,
¿Segundos?
no minutos.
You need the press.
Sí. Solo es cuestión de segundos.
Almost.
That's not bad.
I don't know. It's not rounds. Is it the first time you do a tortilla?
This is the first time I do a tortilla.
I can tell.
Can you tell?
Yeah, it looks like like a Picasso.
Sia, ¿te gusta mi tortilla? Pequeño, ¿no?
Yeah.
Sia, the middle child, was one of only 3 children. Her mum was one of 11.
Ahora somos 11.
11
11 hermanos. Tengo 6 hermanos y somos 5 hermanas.
¿Y cuando prima y primos qué?
Sí, hay un montón.
Sí.
¿Para hacer qué?
Estudiar medicina.
Oh wow!
Sí.
Studies medicine.
Important.
Perhaps most surprising of all was that none of the children had ever travelled outside the local area.
¿Viajaste en Guatemala?
Yo,
Sí.
sí. Fuimos a Tikal, a Río Dulce,
Antigua?
Antigua, sí. Y
Okay.
Guatemala solamente. Fuimos.
Pero no es una habitude para la gente de aquí de viajar.
No, aquí no. Tiene miedo por salir y no tiene dinero, por eso no viajan. Hay muchos niños, no viajan.
This really exaggerated how only a tiny proportion of people in the world can afford to travel, with it being slightly awkward we had travelled around Guatemala more extensively in a week than the mother had who'd been living there for nearly 50 years.
We bought compré les cosas. Tú. There you go. Nada, de nada.
Well, we've been dealing with this sound all morning of roosters and chicken buses bleeping down the hill since about 5 AM. Driving me insane, but what an experience.
We were then all excited to take a boat tour around Lake Atitlan, one of the gems of Guatemala.
There is where we stayed last night.
So this is the main street of the town. It's what, like 3 meters wide? Just ignore the drilling in the background, but this is an incredibly peaceful town. All the cafes are orientated towards yoga and all very green. And back there was a wall of posters with about, what, like 100 different type classes you can do. So yeah, if you want a relaxing yoga retreat, this town's definitely it.
Hit me like a ton of bricks. Doesn't matter, weak or strong. Take your time and do your tricks. All I do is sing along.
We call that mountain the Maya face because
So it's really been a packed last few days, full of so many local stuff, but it's almost been too much, kind of like follow the leader on the tour, which hasn't been great. We've not had that much free time. It's early mornings, not much sleep at all, and local food, which is really basic. But it's good to have that for a few days, I guess, but it's kind of gone on a bit long now, and I can't wait to just stay in the same place for a while and just rest and eat again.
Our last stop of the tour was at a macadamia farm for breakfast, which had a hidden altruistic meaning behind it.
So we come to a macadamia farm for breakfast, which did really nice pancakes and waffles, dead nice. And I think the lady's now going to explain how they're all grown, because they're all made on site here in this really nice little garden.
My name is Emilia. My husband and I founded this farm. You were still in heaven 40 years ago. But it has been a challenge, success, because our mission here is to donate trees to indigenous communities. The nuts, macadamia nuts, have a lot of protein, calcium, potassium, magnesium, omega-3. The indigenous, most of them go to school with a cup of coffee and a tortilla. Nothing for their brains.
So we headed back to Antigua for a much needed few days rest, and also to say goodbye to the tour group.
how much help you have been with little restaurants, with local guys, with local boats. It's like a really big help for all of them. I hope you have the best energy to go back to your routine, and I think traveling always like it's like, oh, I have to go back, but at the end it's amazing to go back, but in a different you know, because you have another perspective and another energy. So what's amazing to meet you, and anytime you want to come back, you have a house in Guatemala City, and yeah.
We took a few days rest before the day eventually arrived where we would be climbing Chichicastenango volcano.
What are we doing today?
Nothing.
However, we came across the first issue when we hadn't even stepped foot on the volcano yet. The guides didn't speak any English.
English.
No English. English. Up. Right now we're at like 2,450 meters above sea level.
Vamos a acampar a una altura de 3,750 metros sobre el nivel del mar.
We'll be camping at 3,700 meters above sea level.
So this is Fuego, that's where we're camping tonight, and this is the summit of Chichicastenango, which we're climbing now.
Well,
there's two girls who have come in white trainers and no coat at all. Like, they are such clean white trainers as well, aren't they? And we're going up in this terrain, which is dusty as. I know. Oh, it's going to be so funny, isn't it? And we're just waiting for them. We've been waiting for them for about 20 minutes now.
They've left their bags in the hostel because they were told by the hostel that the porters would bring them up the mountain for them. But you needed to bring them here for the porters to actually have them in the first place.
And off we go. So this should take 3 to 5 hours, did it say?
Wow.
To the base camp?
Yeah.
For Mark, their name?
They didn't look too tired. Hopefully that's a good sign. You can't even see the top of the volcano, can you? Is that good or bad that you can't see the top?
Some ways it's better because you don't have the false peaks.
Yeah.
Like the false expectation of completing it early.
How are you feeling after step 1? Knackered.
The more you go high, the colder it is, the more comfortable. Well done, guys.
Right. Half an hour in. Whoa, it's proper steep here. It's the ground. You basically take 1 step forward and you go half a step back. The horses look exhausted.
Oh my god, he's fallen off. He's fallen off.
So this is actually illegal to go with horses?
Because a few years ago, someone fell down and the government banned horses.
Well, that's what's just happened. He's just fallen out. So.
Feeling pretty good so far. The main issue has just been slipping back down the hill because of the dust. But yeah, all good. And it's not raining, so I can't complain.
Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my high.
I think we're actually in the clouds now, are we?
You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. Even if the sky is falling down.
There is something very peaceful about just being in the clouds. It kind of muffles all the sound, so you can't hear anything else. And as well as no wildlife. I don't know, very relaxing. Which is a bit ironic, seeing as we're going up a massive volcano. It's just great to see how humanity just hasn't touched up here, left it as it was. The berries, the trees, the plastic bag.
Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs.
We've got pretty high now and the clouds have cleared. So you can see right down to the valley floor and it's insane.
Even if the sky is falling down. Even if the sky is falling down. Yeah. The sky is falling down.
¿Cuántos años tienes?
15.
15. Wow.
15 what?
15 years old. It's insane, he's 15.
That's mad.
And goes up this volcano 2 times a week. And he's carrying, well, he was carrying 2 bags. He's now carrying a massive bag with all the food in.
His body conditioning must be unreal.
The ground literally just falls away every time you take a step. So we've come right to the front for the last leg, just so we can get first dibs on sleeping arrangement in case it's random. This is going to be quite a difficult 20 minutes. We can't be far off the camp now, but it's got dead cloudy. We have eventually made it. Hey!
Made it!
Yeah. You can just about see the tip as
You
well.
can.
Yeah, alright.
This plume is actually insane. It goes so high up into the sky. Madness. So high. You enjoying the toilet, Bill?
Still not the worst toilet I've ever had to use. It is what can only be described as a bin with bin bag under a hole.
Let's have it then, you all want to see it. Oh no, I'd rather actually just go outside.
You've got our sticks in the corner.
Nice. This is alright, to be fair.
It's not too bad. Can I go on the end?
Yeah.
Thanks.
You can go on the end, I'll go there.
Well, we're going to get a bit cosy. So that was an amazing sunset over the clouds and the volcano in the distance, insane. And we're going to wake up early tomorrow morning to reach the summit of Chichicastenango, so we can't wait for that. But now we're just going to chill by the campfire and get an early night. So it's 4 AM and we're climbing to the top of this volcano, which is about an hour and a half, and I feel exhausted. We basically didn't sleep last night. The whole ash is raining down on us. So, yeah, pretty determined right now.
Tired, didn't sleep, ready to get to the top.
Think we'll make it in time for sunrise? Orange is coming through now, isn't it? It's going to be so close. Hopefully we've made it in time. Imagine coming all this way to the top and not making sunrise. Worth it.
So worth it.
Oh my god.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun. Oh, we know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life.
Just erupted. Look how high it goes as well. It's insane. So we're sat on a volcano, looking at one volcano explode and sunrise behind another volcano. Not bad, is it? Right, I'm going to put the camera away and get down this mountain, because if you look at the floor, every time you take a step it just crumbles beneath you. See you at the bottom.
You and I can weather any